As Godzilla fans, I feel like we have a lot to celebrate. And that celebration has everything to do with the fact that we have numerous Godzilla projects in the works that are on the horizon. And I just wanted to go over a few of those and talk about one of them specifically for this particular video. So, interestingly, I think that Kaiju number 14 provides a pretty succinct list of the projects that are happening right now. So, the list consists of Godzilla Minus Zero, which is the much anticipated sequel to Godzilla Minus One, the anticipated sequel or the continuation of the MonsterVerse, Godzilla X Kong Supernova. There is the new Godzilla anime series, which was announced, and that's going to be what I talk about mostly in this video. There is the potential of a Shin Godzilla sequel. That's been kind of bounced around a little bit, cause for some excitement. There is the prequel series that was just announced to Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I was not expecting. Plus, we also have the continuation of Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2, which finally we're getting that. I feel like it's been like 18,000 years since we had the first season. And of course, there's like this untitled Southeast Asia project. I've seen some rumors that it might be connected to the new anime series, but that is not confirmed. And then, of course, there's the console games. Ultimately, there's a lot. And we are going to be fed as Godzilla fans for the next couple of years, I'd say. That is cause for celebration. If you, like me, have lived through the great, you know, horrible deserts of Godzilla content like we had in like the 2000s, this is this is a much this is a beautiful sight to see. However, I will say that, people have been raising some, noted concerns, some understandable concerns. And that has everything to do with the new Godzilla anime that was announced. So Toho just announced and confirmed production for the new Godzilla anime series, and notes that for the first time in the series' 70-year history, a boy with, quote, possession of Godzilla's powers as the protagonist is going to be present. And they pose the question, is that boy human or is that boy Godzilla? So we get like a really interesting still right here of like this boy who almost looks like he is swaddled in like Godzilla armor or garb, and then we see Godzilla hovering in the background, um, almost like a ghostly silhouette of Godzilla. Now, like, when I saw this, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, like, this is something fascinating. We know that Toho tends to really experiment with Godzilla when it comes to anime. That has been met with a lot of criticism, though. I'll be talking a little bit about that criticism and I think where that criticism comes from. And I will talk about my stances and takes on those. So, obviously, a lot of people like, I've seen some people excited. I've seen a lot of people who've been expressing concern over this specifically, and it has a lot to do with the fact that, well, if we look at the track record of Godzilla anime, like, it's not been well received by Godzilla fans. A few years ago, the Godzilla anime trilogy of films came out, and, like, the first film, I think, was met with, like, some intrigue and wonder, but, like, then the subsequent films were met with quite a bit of criticism, and a lot of people criticized the writing, a lot of people criticized, the plot, the characters that just didn't seem to blossom. I personally, when it comes to the anime trilogy, don't think that writing was the issue. I think the issue with the trilogy is the mode in which it's presented, that being in film. I think a story of that complexity and magnitude deserved a series with multiple seasons. Then we had Godzilla Singular Point. I feel like Godzilla Singular Point was more well received by a lot of people, but a lot of people got really stuck on like the very pseudo sophisticated like physics and science that was taking place in the show. My Star Trek brain loved it. I ate it all up. But like a lot of people just found that inaccessible. And I have found that that is probably the biggest concern that people have with the Godzilla anime adaptations is it fully accessible for everyone? Like, is it, and mind you, like, I don't necessarily think that all media should necessarily be accessible all the time. Like, there are just gonna be some things that we don't mesh with, right? And I will say that over the years, as I've gone back and rewatched the anime trilogy, like, it's kind of grown on me a little bit, especially that 3rd film. 2nd film is still yikes to me, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. But I wanted to pull up, some more details about the Godzilla anime trail or the new Godzilla anime just a little bit, and I think that, we did get some good coverage from Kaiju United. Are we really surprised this is Kaiju United we're talking about, right? But Kaiju United provides a few more details here, in the official press release that came from, Igloo Studio, and it adds a little bit more commentary here, on a piece of concept art that was shared across major outlets, both anime-centric and kaiju-oriented. I'm just reading this here. And they add, quote, "The concept art revealed on stage it depicts a boy preparing to unleash a heat ray reminiscent of Godzilla, a boy who carries within him the power of a god of destruction that had always stood against humanity. Is he truly human or not? And this is considered a bold first step for the series, and it marks an exciting beginning." So I would recommend going and reading this article. Like, I think it draws in some like interesting inspiration here. And I do believe that a lot of the creative team behind it also had some connection to Godzilla Singular Point. So I would definitely go and check that out when you get a chance. So I really think there's potential. Like, I think that there's potential. My big worry is, like the anime trilogy, I just hope that they're not biting off more than they can chew, because a layered story deserves pacing. It deserves time with which to be fleshed out. I personally, like, I'm still really bummed that we didn't get a season 2 to Godzilla Singular Point. I feel like a season 2 would have answered a lot of people's questions that kind of got them stuck during season 1 of that show. So, like, I almost sometimes feel like these anime projects are like, they're kind of, you know, thrown in a pot, and they are like, there's like a lot of like creative energy behind them, but they're not allowed to simmer and to let the seasonings absorb. Can you tell I'm hungry right now? I'm on a diet. Anyway, no, so another interesting criticism that I have seen of this new Godzilla anime is the fact that, one, like, the character can almost sound kind of fan fiction-y. That isn't really something I'm against, being that I love fan fiction a lot and used to write fan fiction. But I have seen other people compare it to the recent Kaisei IDW comic book series, in the sense that there is another character, Jason Braid, who is a human mutant who also kind of possesses Godzilla's powers. And this has been, in the, current series that's been running. And I don't know. Like, to me, they make it sound like that it's something new that's happening, but really it isn't something new, being that the IDW comic, Kaisei Godzilla mainline series has been going on for a while. So now, am I worried? I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm excited. I really enjoy when Toho experiments. I think that experimentation, like I've said many times before, is a sign of a strong franchise. You know a franchise is flourishing when it's able to tinker around with the stories and the characters and the protagonists and antagonists and the, like with Singular Point, the timey-wimey stuff, like the physics stuff. Like, I really feel like Godzilla is at its zenith right now, is at its apex. And I really hope that we are delivered a lot of really new cool stuff through the new Godzilla anime. Now, Toho, I really hope that you salvage Mothra in this new Godzilla anime, because I refuse to have another anime adaptation where she is reduced to a hallucinatory shadow or a flock of small itty bitty moths. So we need to do Mothra some justice. I'm ready and I'm waiting. Anyway, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Click like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Catch up on the new episodes of Growing Up with Godzilla. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your night. Keep standing tall, Godzilla fans.